Let's get perspective from Congress on these developments. Here with us now is a Republican Congressman from Kansas, Derek Schmidt. He serves on the House Armed Services and Judiciary Committees. Congressman, happy Sunday morning. Welcome back to the show, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, Anna.
President Trump issued that ultimatum that Joe and I were just talking about to Iran, and America is sending more Marines, more sailors to the region. It seems at odds with the president's own comments on Friday that the military operation is winding down. What have you learned about the U.S. military strategy at this point? What has changed?
Well, certainly the administration is keeping us posted. I expect another briefing earlier mid next week on this. One thing that's important to keep in mind is that in this digital age, the audience for every social media post or public statement made by the administration, including the president, is not just the American people. It's also the Iranians. It's our allies around the world. It's others around the world who are watching what's happening. So, it's a little bit difficult sometimes to parse the particulars and know exactly what audience it was intended for. But at the end of the day, I think we have to trust our war planners, our war fighters to execute this combat in the way that's most effective, most likely to achieve the objectives. And so far, they're having remarkable success.
Congressman, you joined me a few weeks ago, and you and I were talking about the military operation. I want to play a short clip of our discussion.
We want to make sure that this military operation fulfills its mission. We don't stop early. We don't have a situation, for example, where there's a political or strategic decision made, as there was in the first Gulf War, to stop short, that then invites a second larger conflict somewhere down the road.
Okay, so when is that mission fulfilled? What does success look like to you as we're now going into a month of this conflict and, of course, broader implications?
Well, as we've said from the start of this, the ultimate objective is to prevent Iran from being able to project power and destruction outside of its borders. That includes the ability to deliver nuclear fissile material. And, we saw just this weekend, it was mentioned in the previous segment, it turns out that the Iranians lie. And when they said they didn't have the ability to use intermediate range ballistic missiles, that was simply false. They launched 2 toward Diego Garcia this week. Fortunately, both of those stopped short of their target. And fortunately, neither of those had fissile material on it. But drawing the circle around Iran in a way that contemplates that they have that ability to deliver up to 4,000 kilometers, of ICBM payload, it does change the calculus. That includes all of Eastern Europe. It also includes all of the American forces that are permanently based in Eastern Europe, whether it's Germany, whether it's Poland, whether it's Romania or otherwise. And so I think that just underscores the critical importance of making sure that we achieve the objective here, which is preventing Iran from delivering attack, assault, and particularly nuclear assault on the rest of the world.
You mentioned changing calculus. I am curious, do you think we may have underestimated Iran when this war started? Now we are seeing the economic warfare. We're seeing these drone strikes. We're seeing this conflict expand within the region. And of course, Joe and I were talking about the possibility of cyber attacks that we know Iran is very comfortable using. Do you think, initially my question, that we underestimated how Iran would respond?
Well, I can't speak to how sort of the public chatter and discussion may have gone, or the media analysis. I don't think our war planners underestimated it. They were fully aware of Iran's capabilities, both in their continental region and also within the continental United States, underscoring again the critical importance of remaining vigilant here at home and getting the Department of Homeland Security back up, open, and operating fully. So I don't think our war planners were surprised. Whether there was public surprise, as I've said before, I think one area the administration could have done a bit better was preparing the public for this prior to its start.
Well, so you do think, Iran was going to close the Strait of Hormuz and we were going to see this economic fallout?
I don't think there was a surprise there. We've known for many, many years that was a strategy that Iran would employ. We have seen them employ it before over the decades. And we've known that they have tremendous armament built up along the shores and along the islands of the Strait. It's a narrow choke point that has tremendous economic leverage over the world. 20% of the world's energy supply flows through there. Obviously, we're seeing the effects here at home now in terms of fertilizer prices and other commodity prices that are being choked off. So again, I don't think our war planners were surprised at all. I do think that we need to stay the course and finish this job.
Congressman, it's safe to say many Americans simply don't have the appetite for another foreign war. With that said, the Pentagon is asking Congress for $200 billion more for the war. Would you approve that?
We'll see what they actually asked for. We just gave DOD a very large increase in their budget last summer. We expected another large increase being requested prior to this combat operation, although that budget hasn't been submitted yet. So we'll see. I don't think there should be any blank checks. I do think we have to pay the bills as we go, and we'll sort of see how it all shakes out.
Congress Schmidt, I always appreciate your time. I appreciate you waking up with us. I know it is very early. I know you have a busy week ahead of you, sir. Thank you again, Congressman Schmidt.